Hi, my name is Mikołaj and I am about to show you a magic trick. Watch.
He needs some milk.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Are the bears actually you know what? Well, having a look right now, guys, it is actually pretty significant times right now. As you can see, we are perfectly retesting this previous resistance as support, and if we fall through this, well, then that could mean that Bitcoin could actually start reversing some of these gains that it's made. And not to point it out, you can see right here that we are sitting at a very important heartline of this falling wedge pattern. So in all sincerity, by the time you see this video, the price could actually be very different. So in today's video, I do want to continue to talk about the Bitcoin price. I'm expecting quite a big move in the next coming days. It could even happen by the end of today. So in that sense, we will talk about it, but I think there's something even more important we need to discuss, and it's a bit of a caution, a bit of a warning to crypto investors. We've seen a lot of exuberance, a lot of excitement, especially over the Ethereum merge, right? And there is that possibility of the sell the news event. Also, don't forget, Mt. Gox is supposed to officially release all of those Bitcoin, they're saying, by the end of this month. And if they do pay back their creditors, are they going to dump it on the markets? Now, I'm not trying to spread FUD. What I do want to talk about is actually it almost seems a bit coordinated. Now, it could be a coincidence. That is a possibility. I do still feel that it seems like these events are interconnected, and I did want to share my thoughts on some of the news that's been coming out. I think you really need to read between the lines and see what's really happening in the background, and what I don't want for you guys is to get left behind or get caught on the wrong side of the trade or just completely miss out on a potential life-changing opportunity. So we're going to talk about all that today. Obviously, it does look like we're going to get some kind of a move. I'll let you know what we're going to, probably see in the charts. Not going to harp on it too much, but if you like content like this, guys, a little bit more news today than TA, really, because we're just waiting for that move for Bitcoin. We're waiting for that confirmation. Get subscribed, drop a like. Thank you for coming back. Let's hop in. Let's have a look. So we knew we were going to get rejected at this area. Nothing new. It's not a surprise to us. We knew we got rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth, time we're coming down here. And actually, if you look at it, this is on the 3-day. So really, there were multiple attempts of getting into that zone. Same thing happening over here on a Bitcoin CME futures. We had a nice uptrend. Once again, we hit the top of this blue zone right here, very important, and you can see we are being held down. So, of course, in all markets, right, you do have ebbs and flows, and really what you can see right here is we're just having this, small correction, but it does look like ultimately it is starting to form a rising wedge. We did have, the triangle, the ascending triangle here. We broke out of it. It still technically sort of is a triangle. You could say that we're retesting this, resistance as support. That's fine. But really what you don't want to do is you don't want to lose the structure. So the short-term structure, I'm just going to let you guys know how you could possibly trade this. If Bitcoin comes down to around 23,350. If you wanted to potentially add, to your position there, you could. But just so you know, there is still the possibility that Bitcoin could come down all the way back to 21,630. Now, I know if we were to do that, a lot of people would say, oh, well, the structure's broken. We lost this upwards trend. That's it. The move's over. No, the move is not actually over, guys, because as you could see, that would still keep us putting in 3 points of contact from what I believe to be the capitulation low to this low that we had on July 13th, and that would still be maintaining an upwards trend, and basically all we would be doing is then, once again, just going back into this giant ascending channel, right? So if we were to break below $21,625, according to this chart, I am using Bitfinex for this example, then I would probably say we are going to go a lot lower and that we have lost the structure. But until, we break essentially below this $21,625 level, then really we're still just putting in higher lows. And the only thing that would happen was we would have lost this and this trend, right? So that would have been invalidated, but this overall, midterm trend, the macro trend compared to this trend would still be intact. So that's essentially what I'm looking for, guys. And, if we can hold above 23,800, let's say we close above it today, green candle above it tomorrow, then I do think the next levels that we're looking at is still looking around $25,800 to $26,600. So remember, guys, if you do want to take that trade when it does happen, make sure you get subscribed to the channel and make sure you check out my tutorial popping up above. There's over $15,000 in bonuses below, 6,888 from BitGet alone. Highly recommend you guys check that out. Same thing really happening with Ethereum. I'm not going to get too into it. We're doing the same thing, sort of testing this upward sloping trend and testing this resistance flipping support. So as long as Ethereum can essentially hold above 1860, we're good. However, I think that Ethereum could, if we do break this area, come down to about 1714, which a lot of people would be screaming, oh, the structure's broken, that's it. No, not necessarily, because we would still be putting in higher lows and we wouldn't have broke this resistance flips, hopefully flipping support here. So if you're looking to take the Ethereum trade, if we break to the downside, shorting, not my thing right now. I would look to catch that long at around 1714. And of course, like I said, we still need to pay attention to what stocks are doing. And now for the second day, we have the S&P consolidating at this resistance level. So you can see right here, we can't quite get above it. And it looks to me as if our first downward sloping purple resistance, remember we said there was a bit of some fudge area. I think that we can get rid of this one. I don't think that one's as severe. I think this green level right here is most important. And if we were to go straight up, the next area would be 43, 48. But obviously, why am I talking about the S&P? Well, because we know that when stocks tend to fall, Bitcoin tends to be correlated. So I am keeping my eyes on it. But since we are expecting a big move, since we've been talking about the same price action now for over a week, I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about what is going on in the background. And like I said, we need to read between the lines. And I do want to offer a bit of caution and warning. Now, I'm not spreading FUD. This is my opinion, but I want to share some stories and ideas with you and get some feedback and see what you think. So the Ethereum blockchain essentially is going to reduce, you can see right here, reduce its carbon footprint by 99%. Now, I don't know if you've seen the push for the, the whole ESG movement, clean energy movement, which is why a lot of people have been coming down on Bitcoin, right? Saying Bitcoin wastes energy. It's not energy efficient. Now, these people, I don't believe truly understand why Bitcoin is better suited to be proof of work. It is the most secure network on planet Earth, and that's exactly what you want when you're talking about money. And I believe that Bitcoin is, in fact, money. It's not a currency. A currency is something that's issued by a government, right? Backed by nothing, right? Bitcoin is backed by math, right? You don't have to trust it. You can verify it, right? Well, Ethereum now reducing its carbon footprint by switching to proof of stake. While that seems very good on the outside, it does make me wonder about one specific thing. Now, this morning, this may have already happened, Biden returned to the White House to sign the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, I don't know if you've read this act. I didn't read it, but I did see a summary of it. It's like 730 pages. And although it's called the Inflation Reduction Act, they said the majority of it had to do with like pharmacy and a lot of climate control and how we're going to keep, the carbon emissions down and, how to go greener. So they were saying a lot of it really didn't seem like it had anything to do with inflation. The majority of it seemed like it actually had to do with going green. And by the way, side note, I don't know, I have to put this in here. This is a little bit of a tangent, but this was over on Stansberry Research and they asked Gerald Clemente what he thought about the Inflation Reduction Act. And I just have to play this. I hope that my video doesn't get like demonetized or like shut down for this clip.
How does this fight inflation? Am I wrong in my reasoning here? That there's something off?
Tell me one brilliant thing the federal government has done in my lifetime. And I'm 75 years old. What have they ever done? They're a bunch of losers. They're freaks. I don't know how people could look up to these clowns. Look at them. Look at them. Oh, Mitch McConnell. Now, there's a brilliant guy. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Oh, again, it's one big club and you ain't in it, as George Carlin said. Who's Nancy Pelosi's father? Oh, the mayor of Baltimore at the top. Oh yeah, who was Georgie Bush? Oh, my daddy was a president. My grandpa was Prescott Bush. Who was Andy Cuomo? I'm going to rename the Tappan Zee Bridge after my daddy. I mean, look at the freak show. They don't know what they're doing.
I'm not sure that actually answered the question, but I could not resist playing that. So shout out to Stansberry Research. By the way, if you're not subscribed to them, go get subscribed. Awesome channel. I love the content. So back to what we were saying. So I wonder if that's why we're seeing this Ethereum excitement. But at the same time, it does scare me a little bit because we saw what happened with Tornado Cash, right? Essentially, the US came in and said, it's illegal, you guys can't use this. And the devs, right, they went after them, right? Which is probably why Satoshi remained anonymous, because he knew that, or he, she, they, whoever they are, that, somebody would come after them. But you think about, they do that. And then when you're moving to proof of stake, proof of work, that's pretty much evenly distributed. Yes, you can have more people mining, but ultimately, if you own Bitcoin, you're not controlling the network. If you're mining it, all you're doing is verifying, right? But on Ethereum, it's a lot more complicated. You can vote on things. You have, different types of, essentially in this case, proof of stake is sort of how we run things in the real world. Like, the guys with more money have more power, right? And if a lot of people are leaving their coins on exchanges, that means that technically, not your keys, not your coins. It's basically just an IOU. We know what happened with all these different guys, Celsius and Voyager. And, if that is the case, then does that mean that now, just like we saw with Tornado Cash, they can start, restricting these wallets, even implementing, I don't know, is this possible, smart contracts, to, blacklist wallets, right, that are associated with things that they don't like. Same thing that we already know they can do with UST and USDC. So that is just something to think about. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Whereas Bitcoin sort of, you maintain that censorship resistant, aspect about it, Ethereum moving to proof of stake, giving the power, the voting power to change the protocol to the guys that hold the most, which is actually most likely these centralized exchanges and things of that nature. Something to just think about. And also, don't get distracted from Bitcoin, because as Kevin O'Leary has said, Bitcoin is really the number one that these big guys are going to come in and look at. Now, he goes on and talks a lot on Anthony Pompliano about this wave of money that's coming in. He's been on his show. He's been talking about it for a year. And he recently had another interview where he was talking about being over in the UAE and reiterating what will inevitably happen with these sovereign wealth funds. And they're going to Bitcoin. Not saying they're not going to go to Ethereum. They might, but Ethereum right now, you are sort of just, it's a little bit of an experimentation, right? Bitcoin really only does one thing and it does it well. Great. Ethereum is a bit of an experiment. Now, I'm not saying Ethereum doesn't work. I use Ethereum all the time. I actually technically use Ethereum more than I use Bitcoin. I don't really do much with my Bitcoin. I just hodl it. Sometimes I move it, right? Ethereum, I interact with contracts every day, all the time. I'm always sending and receiving tokens. I have stable coins and all that. But he says they're coming in with the big capital. And this is what he had to say.
When I talk to sovereign wealth, I don't care if it's Norway or the UAE or Saudi, they want Bitcoin. They have not got to the analysis that we've just gone through. They want the proxy of Bitcoin, and they want that volatility. I think for financial services, I agree that ETH, gas fees are a joke. That's the problem. This will help solve for it. But if that becomes the default platform for other digital assets, that will help. But in the immediate term, the demand is for 1% to 3% of a portfolio, a standard. These sovereign wealth portfolios look like this: no more than 20% in any one sector, no more than 5% in any one name. So you're never going to find, Boeing or Bank of America more than 5% in a $900 billion fund. All the indexers know that. It's a really standard format. When you ask them, if you could buy a digital asset, which one would it be and what allocation? It's about 50 basis points on the low end, up to 300 basis points on the high end. And 99% of the time, they say Bitcoin. That's all they know.
So what exactly are sovereign wealth funds, though? You can see right here, the actual definition is a sovereign wealth fund is a pool of money set aside by a government to benefit its economies and citizens. The money from a sovereign wealth fund comes from the country's reserves that have grown due to budget surpluses, trade surpluses, and revenue gained from exporting natural resources.
It's going to take a while for that demand to come. And I think it would be number two. and they certainly like USDC, and they love Solana and Polygon. You go down the list based on market cap. I get it. But right now, if we had policy on Bitcoin, I swear to you, the price would be $60,000 in 2 weeks.
So this brings us now to the Mt. Gox hack, right? So as Crypto Unicorn pointed out, Mt. Gox hack, they recovered 200,000 Bitcoin back to users. 24,000 coins were sold in 2017, which was priced at around $19,000, which just so happened to be the top right before Bitcoin crashed 85% to 3K. Now, I also believe this had a lot to do with the CME futures opening as well, but I'm sure that didn't help. So now, at the end of August, we have 137,000 Bitcoin that are going to be returned to users, worth $3 billion, averaging about $300 per coin. The users who are getting their funds returned to them are up 6,500%. So the question is, what are they going to do with these coins? Are they going to sell them on the open market? Is it going to crash it? Could this be the black swan event? You know, you're looking at the fundamentals, you're looking at the technicals, everything seems great. Then you get a story like this coming out. Could this throw a wrench in the gears? Well, conveniently, right around the same time all this FUD seems to be happening, BlackRock launches their private trust to give clients exposure to spot Bitcoin. So all I have to say is, don't be too distracted by everything going on right now. Yes, I am for Ethereum. Yes, I do hold Ethereum. And I plan on holding Ethereum, whether it be for a win, a loss, whatever, long term. If the protocol, nobody uses it, I don't care. I'm taking that risk, right? But it's a smaller allocation. Bitcoin represents the majority of my portfolio. The reason that the majority of my portfolio is in Bitcoin, which can get kind of boring sometimes, but I think it's the safer bet because you can see that these guys are clearly coming in. They're after the Bitcoin. They're waiting for that FUD. Don't sell your Bitcoin to BlackRock. Don't sell your Bitcoin to the sovereign wealth funds. Do not panic sell and don't FOMO into some of these other things. The altcoins start rallying a little bit and then suddenly everybody's buying coins on page, 7 of CoinMarketCap again. Just remember that Bitcoin is the one they're coming after. 1 to 3% of their capital, 60K in 2 weeks. Actually, in the previous episode, Kevin O'Leary said it could potentially even go up to 400,000. And, Kathy Ark, she thinks it could go even higher, right? Kathy Wood from ARK. So just wanted to point that out, guys. So let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to talk about that. And while Bitcoin actually is at these levels, I wanted to point something else pretty cool out that happened in the market cipher chart. So not only did we get the green dot on the weekly right here, which happened essentially right around July 4th, but also look at how cool this was. We had an anchor wave, and we had a trigger wave, and we had the red money flow switching into the green. Do you realize what a perfect indicator that was, guys? Amazing indication. It literally told you to buy Bitcoin at $19,234, and had you or anybody taking that 24%. Now we're already in our trade. I wasn't paying attention to it at the time, but hindsight, that is pretty cool that it actually called that. So like I said, I do like using market cipher when we are in these like defined trends, when we start moving upwards. It's really, really good for buying dips and stuff like that. It helps you on the lower time frames, specifically like 6 hour or 4 hour or 1 hour works pretty well over there. So definitely check that out. If you guys haven't gotten it, I do have a link below for market cipher. I highly recommend you check that out. If you're serious about learning to trade, great indicator. It has really good beginner features, and it also has very good expert features as well. Very, very easy to use. Check that out below. But that is it for me, guys. Let me know what you think about today's video. It was a bit of a rant because really not much has changed in the price. We're just ultimately just waiting for that move, right? We're having the retest now, so we're waiting for that move. Technically, could you add to the long here? Yes, you could. But if you're already in position, why would you do that? And if you haven't, why wouldn't you just wait a little bit? Or enter a little bit here, maybe 20%. I don't know what your risk management is, but understand that there's the possibility of retesting 22, potentially down to 27. Now, after 27, like I said, that's totally broken structure. Would it be possible? Yes, we have to see. But Bitcoin usually has these big moves within less than 70%. And you could see right around here, if I was to just extend this line out a little bit farther, right? That basically puts us to the beginning of September. Usually by around 70% of the pattern, we have the move. It usually never gets to the end. We don't ever see usually 100% of a shape or pattern actually play out. It's usually around 70%, unless it's like a head and shoulders or something like that. But wedges, triangles, bear flag type things like that, usually they usually move within 70% of the pattern. So we will keep our eye on it. I am expecting a big move. Let me know what you guys think about that. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason I make these videos. A little bit different of a video today. Don't worry, tomorrow we'll get back into all TA and stuff. Just wanted to have a little bit of a talk about everything that's going on. Do be careful. Don't FOMO, but also don't FUD and panic sell. And then BlackRock and you know, the UAE guys and, you know, the sovereign wealth funds, now they have all the Bitcoin and then you have nothing. Don't end up being that guy either, okay? So not financial advice as usual. You guys rock. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And of course, if you are serious about trading and you want to learn how to do it responsibly and profitably, make sure that you watch this video popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.